So like with JT, I was on his Man of the Woods tour, which was 2018.
Yeah, I was going to say like right before the pandemic.
Yeah, it was like 2018, but like 2018 until like forever because that tour never ended. So we were out on the road, and his A&R, Dre, we had a break in Europe, like a week off, and they were going to work on some music, and I made a comment like just being funny on some like, oh, all right, when y'all want some real records, that was very LA of me. All right now, but I was like, when y'all want some real records, like holla at me, I'm just being funny. And Dre's like, yo, so, all right, send me some. So, I didn't really send them because I'm also big on like, if this is what you hired me for, like, I'm only gonna do that. You know what I mean? So, and not in a way of like that ain't what you paid me for.
No,
I mean, like
you just
I don't blur the line.
overstep
Exactly.
and do too much, yeah.
So we come back a week later and he brings it up again. Like, weren't you supposed to send me some records? And I was like, oh, so he's serious.
Yeah.
So I sent him some records. He calls me that next morning. We had a show. He called me at like 6 a.m. though. Like, oh my God, does anybody know that you write like this? I'm like, I got placements. Like, he's like, nah, man. Like, so we had this whole conversation. I walk in the arena. I hear like my music, like some demos I sent, like playing on the loudspeakers.
Yeah.
And it felt like a movie because I'm like walking through the hallway and like you got admin like, hey, I love your songs. And like I'm like looking
that's
like, what
crazy.
are y'all talking about?
Right.
And so Dre was basically like, I got it. You and JT have to write together. He's like, I've only brought him like 2 people before, and I haven't been wrong. One of the people was James Fauntleroy, and the other was my boy Rob Knox. And they all still work with JT. And so he kept saying, I got to connect y'all. Y'all got to work on something. Like, I know what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. And so one day I get called into JT's room. I'm thinking I'm about to get fired because I hear my name in the hallway. Like, where's Kenyon? And I'm like,
it's like getting called to the principal's office.
Yeah, and they're like, I'm in the dressing room with the rest of the band, and JT's assistant comes in, and she's like, Justin wants you in the room. And so we're all looking at each other like, dang, is this it? Like, what I do,
Right,
so we
go in the
room, yeah. We go in the room, it's him and Dre at the table. And it was like, yo, man, like, Jay's like, Dre, let me hear your stuff. Like, we got to work on some stuff. Like, I think we could create some dope stuff together. So that was the beginning of like the actual conversation.
At that point, had you put out any of your like own songs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I technically was releasing my own music before I even started doing background. So when I was a senior in high school, I was already like putting out a bunch of stuff. But I was also doing, background vocals. And so with JT, it got to the point to where like a week later, Dre let me hold his script from Trolls, which I still have. He's like, I want you to read through these prompts. If you get any ideas for like the music based on what you're reading, like let me know. And there was this one scene with Blanche and Poppy, which are 2 of the characters in there, where they're kind of like having this moment of like, we know we're perfect for each other, but we're not. And like that was the conflict where it's like, this wouldn't be right, but it should be.
Yeah.
And so I got this idea. I went to the tour bus with my homie T-Von and asked him to play some stuff. Like I had the idea and I laid it down, took it to Jay. Like in the middle of the tour, we had like a break. We were in LA, got in the studio, wrote the rest of the song together, and that ended up being my first placement with Justin.
Wow.
Hey, on
And
a Trolls movie.
Yeah, for a Trolls movie.
Motion picture money.
And then
That's
like
right.
from there with Jay, I think my next one with him was Better Days. That it was Ann Clemens, JT, and Kirk Franklin. I felt like I'm missing something. And then there was the Keep Going Up record that I did with him, Timberlake, and Nelly Furtado. But all of that was like years later, like because after Trolls, we had been in the studio. We've been working on Everything I Thought It Was since like 2019.
Oh, wow.
Probably even earlier. So
Been a long time coming.
been a long time. So that's the long story of how how we got here.
For someone who's hearing about you for the first time, which are you living under a rock? For someone who's hearing about you for the first time, what are your like 3 songs of yours that you'd be like, these are the 3 songs, perfect introduction to Kenyon Dixon?
I'm really tapped into my fans, so I feel like per what I see them talk about a lot. One is Get High, Get By. Other one is I Still Love You. For the third, I think it's a tie between maybe Love on Replay and Marvin Gaye. Those are the ones I hear the fans talk about the most, and new fans come on and say like, I just heard. It's always one of those songs, and now it's Can I Have This Groove? They always talk about. Can I Have This
Groove? Yeah. I'm putting Here up there.
Here's another one. It's really the whole Closer album, if I'm being honest. I feel like they talk about that.
That's the one that got me on you, and then I went back and listened to Closer. Remember I told you that?
Yeah.
Then I went back and listened to everything else because I had no idea. I'm like, damn, I've been under a rock my damn self. I'm like, why have I not known about this man? And I started listening to Closer. I'm like, good God, like this album is amazing. Then everything else is coming out. I'm just like, wow. But
crazy.
Speaking of like the difference in like songwriting and putting your own music out, do you ever have that feeling where you're like, damn, I wish I would have kept that song for myself? Or like, what is that feeling when you're, it's like, to me, it's like the same situation as like being a surrogate. Now I know that's that's a crazy analogy, but still it's like, it's your baby and you have to give it to somebody else to raise and to nourish. Like it's yours, but you gave it to somebody else. How does that feel?
Somebody asked me something similar the other day, and what I realized that helps me is all of my music I create at home. When I'm writing for other people, I'm usually in a different space, like physically.
Yeah.
So I'm somewhere where they've brought me in, like, cause I don't really like shooting shots that don't got like a real guarantee. Yeah. So I like to get in with the artist. Like I don't like really doing,
I'm gonna send you something.
Yeah, I'm like,
let us in the room with you.
Yeah, if we gonna work, like. Because also, there's a lot of sessions where it's just like a bunch of creators, but I'm like, bring the artist because I want to know what you like, what you feel. Let's cut to the chase and get the record that you're actually looking for. So that's been, that has kind of been what happened. Like with Tyrese, like I'm always with Tyrese writing those records. With TGT, like we were together. Yeah. Like with Justin, every record that we wrote on the album, we were in the studio together writing those albums, writing those records. Right. So it makes it a little easier for me to decipher between, what's for me and what's not. But I do have some moments, but I'm very like honest with myself because there are some records that I've written that I'm like, man, I sound great on this record. But also I'm like, I think that they would do a better job.
Give it a different type of conviction.
And sometimes it just gives it like new life. And so. Yeah, it's become easier, but I realized that was like a real realization I had, which was that the biggest difference is that when I'm working on my own stuff, I'm always at home. I've always anything I've ever released, I've recorded it myself.
Oh, really?
At home. Yeah, like I don't go to the studio and cut records.
Oh, wow.
And now you're on a major festival lineup. Togetherland, and that's in Dallas, right?
Dallas.
And these are the same folks who did One Music Fest in Atlanta, and they're doing Dallas for the first time this year. And that lineup is sickening.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Anything special we can expect? A little boom cat?
I might. You know what I mean? I think this is my first time playing. I mean, I played festivals before, but like in this lineup, you know what I mean? This is my first time playing this type of festival, so. I'm definitely gonna enhance the show a little bit and flex just a little bit. I feel like it's only right.
As you should.
I feel like I think it was on your page that I saw you were this was back when you were touring with JT.
Yeah.
And you were in there with the background dancers and you was doing a little
I used to be learning all of this stuff, man, because JT's choreographer, Marty Kudelka, like growing up, I was dancing, and so Marty was one of those choreographers that you would always try and catch his like classes at like Millennium and like different, different dance studios and stuff. And so I was learning like iconic Marty choreo. Like this was like the choreo in the music videos.
Right, that people are really taking the time out to learn.
Yeah. So it was crazy. And then it came in handy because very last show of the tour, we were at Mohegan Sun, which I think is in Connecticut. We played 2 shows there, and me and one of the dancers, my boy Cody, we switched. We surprised JT. He had no idea. We did Sexy Back. When that came on, we had already like ran it. He never knew. We would be in sound check, literally running it. They're staging me, showing me where to go. He had no idea.
Oh, and you performed it.
Yeah, and then that last show, we switched.
I need to see that.
Did he sing?
And Cody can actually sing.
Okay.
He literally went to the mic, and I went right there.
Little Parent Trap moment.
Yeah. It was crazy. It's online too, the footage. It was so funny to see like when Jay turned around and realized it was me. It was hilarious. You never expected
pull that up.
So, yeah.
Pull that up.
Right. How was it performing at the Image Awards honoring Frankie Beverly? How was that?
Man, that was amazing. It was amazing because like, again, I come like, you know, I subscribe to like R&B soul, you know what I mean? So somebody like Frankie Beverly, you know, Frankie's a legend, and he literally has timeless songs that have like shaped and inspired so many newer creatives, and some of them don't even know like that.
That's where everything came from.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think it's cool being like a younger creative, because I think that I'm able to be a bridge sometimes to my generation. And it's cool to be able to see somebody who also represents like current generation of R&B pay homage to somebody like that. Because I think that does kind of bridge that gap. But that was super cool. I was on there with like some of my favorite voices. Layla Hathaway,
crazy,
Luke James, Kenny Lattimore, like
that was an
they're all
they're
all amazing, and everybody's professionals like that. Nobody knows, but the day of that tribute was the first time we ever even rehearsed.
Really?
Yeah, like we maybe rehearsed for like 30 minutes and ran the song like
like
3 times and then just showed up. Like, well,
yeah, when you great, you just great.
Yeah, it was that was dope. I love the display of professionalism there, but also everybody's just really good and like cool. So that was dope to be a part of.
I take it that night must have been the night of all the like entertainment
it wasn't
and
the night
performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was that, Friday night?
It was
or Thursday night?
Thursday
Yeah, because
night.
on Saturday night we like
Yeah.
like, I just knew it was gonna be at least like 2 people up there.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, it was so funny because the clip was like going crazy on different like platforms, and when I would look in the comments, every time I would see, well, why we didn't see this on the main show? So
no, we had Uncle Old Boy during the commercial breaks. He was our entertainer. He had me rolling the whole time.
R&B only.